Hello, good morning, second graders. My name is Mrs. Nestor, and I'm going to be doing some reading lessons with you for the next 5 days. We're going to be doing lesson 1. We're going to read Henry and Mudge, All in the Family, and we're going to be thinking about what is a perfect pet like. Today is day 1, and we're going to do some sounds with phonemic awareness, some high frequency and vocabulary words, comprehension, and we're going to read anchor text, which is Henry and Mudge. So let's warm up with some sounds. I'm going to say some sounds and I want you to put them together to see what word it makes. Ready? Let's try one. K, a, t. If you put those sounds together, it makes cat. Next one. S, a, d. Put the sounds together. What do you get? Sad. Good job. F, I, n. What word does that one make? Thin. Good job. Now we're going to switch it up a little. I'm going to say the word this time, and I want you to say the sounds. Ready? Nap. What are the sounds you hear? Let's try it together. N, a, p. That's nap. Next one. Clap. What sounds do you hear in clap? There are 4, right? K, u, a, p makes clap. Next word. Trip. What sounds do you hear in trip? T, r, I, p. Good job. Now these were just some easy words, but we just want to warm up with some sounds as we get ready to talk about the sounds for this lesson. So we're doing the short vowel A sound, which makes the A sound. Can you say A? A lot of the words we did already had some A sounds. Listen to these words. Cat, sad, flat. Do you hear the A sound? It's right in the middle, right? The next ones have it at the beginning. Apple, ask. You hear the A? Now look at this line of words. How many words have the A sound? I found 2. Snap and snack. Good work if you did too. Let's look at the next sound, which is a short vowel I sound. It makes the I. Can you say I? Like in igloo and will and trip and thin. Now look at this next line of words. How many words have the short I sound? Remember, it makes I. I found 3 too. List, listed, and miss. Good work with the vowel sounds. Now we're going to do our high frequency words. Let me introduce you. And when I say the word, we're going to spell it and we're going to skywrite it with our finger like this, okay? Get your fingers ready. First word is around. A-R-O-U-N-D. Around. Next word is B. B-E. Good. Next word is 5. F-I-V-E. 5. Next word is help. H-E-L-P. Next is the next word. N-E-X-T. We have 5 more to go. Or. O-R. Or. Pull. P-U-L-L. Pull. Take. T-A-K-E. Take. Until. U-N-T-I-L. Until. Last one is walked. W-A-L-K-E-D. Walked. All right, we made it. We're going to read this story together called The Perfect Pet. The words in yellow are our vocabulary words. So let's begin reading the story and then we'll talk about the words, some of the words, after. The perfect pet. Carla didn't have a pet, but she loved to help her next door neighbor, Mrs. Stevens, take care of her cat, Sadie. Sadie had long, straight fur, the color of butterscotch. She also had 7 collars, a different one for each day of the week. Carla visited Mrs. Stevens and Sadie every day after school. First, she would comb Sadie's fur. Next, she would take Sadie outside to play with her favorite string toy. Then she fed Sadie her supper. Last, she always gave Sadie a big hug and a scratch under her chin. One day, Carla's mother said, "I've noticed that you take such good care of Sadie, Carla. Would you like to have a pet of your own?" "Yes," Carla beamed. I knew she was going to say that, did you? On Saturday, Carla and her mother went to a pet shop. Carla looked at a row of fish tanks. The fish glimmered with many beautiful colors, but Carla didn't want a fish. "You can't play with a fish," she said. A bunny with floppy ears stood in its pen. Carla tried to pat it, but it hopped away. "You can't hug a bunny that hops away," she said. Carla and her mother tried to find a pet for Carla at an animal shelter. Carla scratched a friendly-looking dog under its chin, and it drooled on her. "I don't think I want a pet that drools," she said. Then Carla noticed a cute puppy with curly hair. It liked to play, it liked to be hugged, and it didn't drool. Carla's mother asked how much it weighed. "She only weighs 4 pounds now," said the shelter worker, "but she'll probably be over 80 pounds when she's full grown." Carla's mother stepped back. "That's too much dog for our little house," she said. "I'll never find a pet as wonderful as Sadie," Carla thought. Sadie is the perfect pet. Back at home, Mrs. Stevens was outside looking worried. "Oh dear," she said. "I just found out that I need to move in a few months, but my new apartment doesn't allow pets. What will happen to Sadie?" Carla felt terrible for Mrs. Stevens. She wished there were some way she could help. Suddenly, Carla broke into a grin. "Don't worry, Mrs. Stevens," she said. "I know someone who will take good care of Sadie, and you can visit her whenever you want." That was a nice story, right? A nice ending. Now, here are our vocabulary words. The first word is straight. Okay, when I say straight, I want you to do this. Straight. I want you to think of something straight like this. Okay, ready? Straight, straight. Now, it means not curling, curving, or bending. Say it with me. Not curling, curving, or bending. Here's a sentence. Some kinds of dogs have long, straight hair. Okay, the word is straight, not curling, curving, or bending. Good. Next word is collars. Bands that animals wear around their neck. For this one, we're going to make a band like this around our neck. Ready? Say collars. Definition is bands that animals wear around their neck, kind of like a necklace. Here is a sentence. Collars come in different styles. A collar goes around a dog's neck. Okay? Collars, say the definition with me, bands that animals wear around their neck. Our next word is row. A number of things arranged in a line. Can you say row? And then when we think of a row, we'll do this to see all the different rows, just like there is in this picture over here. It says the dog treats are lined up in a row on the shelf, just like this, one after the other. Okay? Row, a number, say the definition, a number of things arranged in a line. Good. Our last word for today is floppy. It means hanging or moving in a loose, droopy way. We're going to pretend to have floppy ears like this. Okay, can you do that? Floppy. Hanging, say the definition, hanging or moving in a loose, droopy way. Here's a sentence. Hound dogs have floppy ears. The ears hang low, the ears hang down very low. Okay? Floppy. Good job. Now, we are going to be working on a skill that's going to help us understand the story better. That's why we practice all these skills. This lesson, we're going to do sequence of events. Now, sequence means time order, not just in any order, but in time order. So in Henry and Mudge, or any story that you read, events happen and then another and then another. So the order of events in a story is called the sequence of events. And remember, events are things that happen in a story. You can use a chart like this to show the order of events. First, next, and last. And you can actually add many bars. I'm going to show you that right now. So in the story that we read with the perfect pet, I filled out the chart with all the different parts. So first, Carla does not have a pet of her own, but helps her neighbor, Mrs. Stevens, take care of her pet. Remember that part at the beginning? Then, Carla would comb Sadie's long, straight fur, play outside and feed her and hug her and scratch under her chin. The next, one day, her mom asks her if she wants her own pet, and she says yes. I remember that part. I knew she was going to say yes. After seeing many other pets, Carla feels like only Sadie is the perfect pet. When they got home, Mrs. Stevens is worried because she needs to move, but her apartment doesn't allow pets. And at the end, Carla feels terrible. She feels better when she tells Mrs. Stevens that she knows someone who would take good care of Sadie. So we fill out this chart to just write all the important events that happen in the story. That's sequence of events. Another way we can see sequence of events is by answering these type of questions like what happened before a specific thing. So before means earlier, or you have to go back to find the answer. I'm going to show you in a second. The other kind of question you could see is what happened after. After means next, or you're going forward. Okay? So let's see what this means if we're looking at the story. So if we're looking at the perfect pet, one kind of question is the one that what happened before. So what happened before Carla saw the bunny? So remember, before means earlier. But let's find this event. Down here at the bottom is where she finds the bunny. So if I want to find what happens before, I'm going to go back to an earlier part of the story, right before here, this section here, and I found out that that's the part where she found the fish, but she didn't want it because you can't play with a fish, she said. Let's look at this next one. What does Carla do after feeding Sadie supper? So this one is after. So first let me find where she's eating supper. Right over here. She fed Sadie her supper. So what happened after? What happened next? This is the part where she gives her a big hug and a scratch. So this is another way of seeing sequencing where you can ask questions about what happened before or after an event. Another skill we're going to be practicing, strategy, is inferring and making predictions. Now, in both of these, you use clues or things that happen in the story. So use clues to figure out what the author does not tell you. This is when you make an inference. Sometimes the author doesn't say something, but you can kind of figure out what the author is saying by looking at the clues. What kind of clues can you look for? Well, you can see what the character says, what the characters do, what events happen in a story, where are they, where's the setting, what are the important ideas, and even the pictures can give you clues. Another type of thing you can do is make predictions. So you can look at all these clues and try to figure out what's going to happen next. This is what we're going to practice with this lesson. Let's practice with the perfect pet again. So here's a question. Who does Carla know that will take good care of Sadie and will let Mrs. Stevens visit anytime? I remember when we read the story, that was at the very end on the bottom here. So this is where she says, I know someone who will take good care of Sadie, but she doesn't say who it is. But I think we can make an inference. I think we can figure this out. If we go back to the clues, remember Carla's mom asked her to see if she wanted a pet, and she said yes. And she was looking around, but remember she couldn't find any of them that she liked, and she thought Sadie was the perfect pet. I bet Carla's going to be the one that takes Sadie home, and I know she's going to take good care of Sadie, and she's going to let Mrs. Stevens visit anytime. So this is what making an inference is. We use all the clues and we figure something out that the author didn't say, but we know what it is from the clues. One more skill we're going to be looking at, author's word choice. Now, authors think about which words and phrases to use. So sometimes they use words to make the story sound interesting. Sometimes they use words to help us see what's happening in the story. So what are the words the author uses to describe Sadie? So she has long fur, straight fur, fur is the color of butterscotch, and she has a collar for every day of the week. This is how the author describes Sadie. And with that, we can get a pretty good idea of what Sadie looks like, right? So this is the skill we're going to do. Now, our anchor text is Henry and Mudge. The genre, what kind of story it is, it's realistic fiction. Now, realistic fiction is a story that could happen in real life. So the characters act like the way real people do, and the story events that happen could happen to you or someone you know. So if I'm looking at this here, what kind of things do I expect to happen? Will I expect the dog to talk like a person? No, because that can't really happen in real life. So the dog is going to act like a dog does, barks, jumps around, plays around, and the boy will probably talk. So knowing the genre helps you understand what's going to happen in the story. Cynthia Rylant is the author, and she's the one that wrote the words. And Susie Stevenson is the illustrator, and she's the one that drew the pictures. Okay, let's start reading our story. Henry had no brothers and no sisters. I want a brother, he told his parents. Sorry, they said. Henry had no friends on his street. I want to live on a different street, he told his parents. Sorry, they said. Henry had no pets at home. I want to have a dog, he told his parents. Sorry, they almost said. I wonder why almost looks like that. I think it's because the author's trying to tell us something important. You know, before the first two times when Henry asked, they said sorry and sorry, but now they almost said sorry. That makes me think I can probably make a prediction and make an inference even too to see what could happen next. So I used all my clues to make an inference first. Well, he already was told no and sorry and no and sorry, but this time they said almost. So I think they're probably going to say yes, or maybe they're not going to say no again because they almost said sorry. That's what I think is going to happen. Did you think that too? All right, scholars, we're going to stop here for today. We will continue with our story tomorrow. Thank you for paying attention and for following this along with me. Have a good rest of the morning.